Something I often talk about in my videos is about brand and marketing design and how it's different from product design. I'm very passionate about it. But even though these are separate roles, most of the time anyway, in a tech company, marketing and product designers still need to work together. After all, we need to make sure that a user signing up on the marketing site and then logging into the product feels a sense of consistency and like they haven't accidentally gone to the wrong site because it looks totally different to what they were just seeing before. Brand consistency builds trust. So we as marketing and brand designers need to work with product designers to infuse brand into the product. In my recent interview with Stuart Scott Curran, who is the Senior Director of Brand for Loom, he shared with me how the brand and product design teams at Loom stay in sync with each other and how they make infusing brand in the product a really natural part of their process, so it becomes just like not a big deal. This is what he had to say as part of his answer to a question I asked him about his team's responsibilities.
Part of that comes with collaborating on product and making sure that we have brand infused into product and vice versa. That's less of like what we work on and more just like that's always on and what we do and we kind of do that by having regular meetings through the week. It's not necessarily like, okay, we have this project now. We're just always trying to keep that on.
Right, like it's a responsibility for your team rather than a project. It's just like you're always responsible for it. Whenever you're giving a critique to product, you're giving suggestions or like making sure that the brand visuals and voice is expressed through that too.
And uncovering opportunities where the two can mesh better, you know, like and that's not always visual design. Sometimes that's just like a tweak to copy writing in the product, you know, like something that we've been, you know, tooling with on the marketing side. Maybe we want to bring in some of that tone of voice to the product too. We try and keep it to like a million little things, you know, that all kind of like add up to hopefully something bigger, rather than, okay, we have a project now and we want to bring brand into product, you know, like we try and keep it a little bit more natural and organic.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe that's the way to actually make it happen as well, you know, because if it was a big project where, I don't know, it's going to take a while, you got to spend the time planning it, it'd be easy to deprioritize it in comparison to other things perhaps that marketing needs. But when it's just, like you said, a million little things, you can fit them in easier and just slowly over time you get more and more of the brand in the product.
I mean, I've certainly had trouble before at previous companies with brand and product collaboration, just because the timelines are different, everybody's workload's different, the priorities are different, and, you know, whenever we find an opportunity to do something in product, maybe they are focused on something else, and it becomes this kind of game of tennis where you're just throwing something back and forward over the net and never really landing on anything that feels great. So we wanted to try and avoid that, and for us the way to do that is to just remove the idea of it being a project. You know, like it's more just something that we try and bake into the DNA of our design culture, which is just like, you know, one of our company values is lead with transparency. And so
I love that. So
all of our Slack channels are completely open. All of the work in progress just gets posted. Anybody can follow along that wants to see that. We have crit twice a week where we come together. And so hopefully we just have this kind of like background noise of sharing work somewhat ambiently, you know, where folks are able to pick up on things and spin up conversations on where we can potentially collaborate. And that's hopefully something that's happening continuously over time, rather than, okay, this quarter we're going to work on X, you know?
I really love this concept of doing a million little things instead of making it one big project. Not only does that feel like it will build the habit more for all of the designers and make it that natural part of the process, but also honestly it feels less overwhelming to get started with than planning a big project around infusing brand into the product. And this is something I definitely want to work on more with the product design team at ConvertKit, and I think we'll take this approach too, of lots of little things rather than making it a big deal, doing a big project planning and things like that. We need it to be a habit. The full interview that I did with Stuart is filled with lots of useful insights, not only about this brand and product situation, but also about the rebrand process that the Loom team went through internally recently as well. So you should check that out right here and share your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you over there.